Kalispera, my fellow holotable heroes, and welcome to another Galactic challenge video. I guess we were too early to start celebrating the end of Tuscan Mondays because, oh boy, CG hit us with a Java Monday. Is it just me, or does CG like to pair Jawas versus Imperial troopers? Because I had a look back, and also previous Java challenge was the same versus Imperial troopers, and these guys are jacked up. AoEs galore, all of them except Short Trooper. They hit really hard. So if your Jawas are low gear as mine, you will probably have to settle for the gold crate or silver, depending obviously if you can get thermal detonator feat done as well. And then many of you on my last challenge video, when I the end of the video gave you some bonus clips there from one of my trips to Crete, you really enjoy that and asked to do more of it. So actually I'm still in Crete, so I've still done a few more trips over the past week. So today at the end of this challenge video you can have a look at one of those trips. But now let's start with the challenge. So let's review the modifiers first. We got the global modifier, June Sandstorm. So at the end of every other turn, all units are inflicted with damage over time until defeated, which can't resist it, can be cleansed however. Now these damage of times, they do rank up over time, so for both you and the enemies, but guess what, they get revived so they can shake them off quickly. And most annoyingly, this feeds Magma Trooper a whole lot of bonus thermeter. Then he does his AoE and removes your thermeter. Ugh, very annoying their combo with Magma Trooper. Now actually the modifier for Jawas is really fun. You gain extra protection, and then whenever a thermal detonator explodes, all Jawas recover 100% protection and gain speed as well. So definitely a very fun modifier, plus it adds some extra layer of applying thermal detonators whenever your guys are damaged. Definitely a very fun modifier for Jawas. And then the endless ranks for these guys, so they get free revives, and these revives cannot be prevented, so they will come back sort of like a zombie Imperial troopers in there really. In terms of feats, we have to complete the battle with a full team of Jawas, apply thermal detonators at least 40 times, and then win after scoring 3 critical hits in a row. Now for most of us, the most challenging part would be completing Jawas tier 10 for the max rewards. I wasn't able to get anything done with my Jawas or those AoEs. My guys are just too low gear. I don't know, maybe minimum gear 12 Jawas here could get something done with some RNG and remodding for protection. Maybe that would work. Let me know guys in the comments below. Those that you do have gear 12 or above Jawas, was that enough? And then thermal detonator could as well be tricky depending on what you've got. Obviously if you do have Java hot cartel team, that's going to be very easy and straightforward. I had to do Rayleigh with Jawas enabled to do that. So let's first knock out actually tier 10. As mentioned before, Ray, the queen of Jawas, has returned. So you really need to get Ray in there, then Jawa Scavenger obviously for his unique line in the sand, I think it's called, that will be applying lots of thermal detonators on the enemies. And then just whichever free tankiest Jawas you have. I didn't remote, so they just have some random ones on there. But obviously Ray, luckily, you know, she goes first. You get Lifeblood going. Make sure to always target Scavenger with Lifeblood, because he needs to survive obviously for his unique to be doing lots of here, applying lots of thermal detonators. And after that, the guys will just start exploding one at a time. Obviously with Ray you've got a damage immunity that will save your Jawas, then you hit ultimate as well, and this is pretty much game over for these guys. There we go, let's go ahead and chuck it. Ooh, down they go almost, but they got back. One more revive to go. I'm just waiting now for Ray to hit ultimate, so these Jawas can survive long enough that the troopers just die off. There we go, perfect. Guinea's got a lot of thermals there, but he got back. That was the last revive. There we go, perfect. Let's go ahead and do that. Boom, boom. There we go, trooper down. Gideon has had enough of these Jawas and just fled the battle. And that's it. That's how I completed here thermal detonators, and obviously critical hits. It's not really a challenging feat at all, but I did get thermal detonators here at tier 10. And now I'm hopping down to tier 6. These are my Jawas, as you can see. Gear 10, Gear 11, Gear 9, Gear 8. The only relic there is Jawa. Was that Jabba requirement, I think, wasn't it? I think so. I think for one of the Galactic Legends, I think for Jabba the Hutt I had to relic free my Jawa. And this is pretty much it. At tier 6 it was pretty straightforward, just went in, keep smacking buttons, and you know, these guys can't do a whole lot, to be honest, here on tier 6. So I guess even if you have low gear Jawas, you can still get tier 6 done, and then just hop over to tier 9 with whatever you've caught. This will unlock Silver Crate, and then if you can get thermal detonators, I think on tier 9, possibly, I think at minimum tier 9, I think should be enough to get as well then the gold crate as I have. So either with Hot Cartel team or like I did Array Jawas, or potentially there's some other teams as well. I was trying out different bounty hunters, scoundrel clumps, man, but the enemies, they just got so much firepower, so many revives, that is just, yeah, it's just insane, to be honest. There we go. And I had to put in Piet in there, right? Piet is actually always the biggest annoying thing with these Imperial Trooper Galactic challenges, and somehow they always include them with lots of tenacity to boot as well. There we go, tier 6, I had no issue with my, you know, kind of low gearish Jawas, which unlocked then now for me the gold crate, which, you know, for Jawa challenges, that has pretty much become the standard lately, so I'll just take it. Alright, so this ends the Galactic Challenge portion of the video, so let's now go hop over and let me show you one of my latest trips here on Crete. So today's trip starts just off the main road towards Milonas Waterfall. So the first part, about half an hour walk, is through the gravel road, dirt road if you will. It's a really nice pleasant start to the hike. You're just kind of walking surrounded by pine trees. So definitely, like, you know, the smell of pine trees really kind of brings me back to my childhood, because we always went out to Adriatic Sea for the summer holiday, and there's lots of pine trees everywhere, and that, you know, particular scent of pine trees definitely brings back some good memories always. Now the pine trees themselves aren't all that big, so calling it a forest, I don't know, might be a stretch, but technically it is a forest. And as I walked around, I did notice a lot of still of these pine trees. They had some branches burnt and things like that, so definitely probably as a result of often wildfires here, you know, this forest kind of struggles to grow very tall, but there were some older pine trees as well, and quite tall. Speaking of tall, as you can just see me walking through, there's quite a few places these very tall grass. Somewhere was even like about 6-7 meters high, so definitely very nice kind of walk through. You even get to pass the stream a couple of times. Yeah, so this water is coming from the goal of today's trip, which is the waterfall. And as you come to the start of the actual, after about 30 minutes to the actual trail to the waterfall, you kind of get off this gravel road and you start walking for a nice mountain path. Again, keep continuing walking amongst the pine trees, just slowly ascending, and it's getting higher and higher up. You start to get to see a little bit more of the mountains surrounding. So definitely it becomes a little bit more dramatic views as you're going around, especially, you know, it was a bit of a cloudy day. It's definitely clouds obviously will not provide the best light in terms of the colors for photography. Definitely, like, it brings a bit more of a drama to it. And as you can see, there's a beautiful peak there full of rocks. Nice views there onto the clouds, very nice, like, you know, the contrast between clouds and blue sky. And as you're getting close to the waterfall, you start walking through what used to be an aqueduct, so that's how they got water from the waterfall. But as you can see on the left, there's a black plastic pipe now running through, so the water actually now goes through the pipe down to the village. So this then freed up the aqueduct for actual hiking trail, so that's why you can actually get up close to the waterfall quite easily. And it is slowly approaching to the waterfall. Slightly you will see that suddenly the trees change. There's no more pines and olive trees. It's actually very lush trees as well, full of green leaves there, just because of the extra water that the waterfall provides. And that's, speaking of waterfall, it's quite a big one. It stands 40 meters high, so definitely very tall one. Very clear crystal pond, very nice. You can take a refreshing bath if you will as well in the summer. But as you start to look around, there's a lot more to the waterfall here. If you look at the very top, there's actually a pyramid-like rock and that's because during the winter, when there's more water, there's another waterfall flowing down to the left and then carves like a pyramid shape. And then when you look around these old majestic trees, I believe this was a maple trees growing high up. And then as well, to my surprise, there were fig trees just there growing on the cliff to the side of the waterfall. And yeah, you know how I noticed that there were fig trees? Because in the actual pond I saw a few figs lying there. I'm like, no, there's a fig tree growing up all the way up here. And yes, it is. And that's not enough. Probably in a couple of months times here, carob as well will be ready for eating if you fancy a snack. And this tree was really cool, like where does the root end and stone begins, and another very interesting shaped root from the same tree. And then you can a little bit go higher up on, if you climb up to the rocks, get a slightly different view of the waterfall, slightly different angle through the branches of the trees. And now it's time to say goodbye to the waterfall. It was very relaxing there. Spent probably about half an hour there, a little bit relaxing and chilling. It was very nice, very quiet, not many people, just a few came. And then say goodbye to the waterfall, to the mountains, to the pine trees, and finish off the day by taking the dip in a crystal clear waters on the Galini beach. And that's all for today's video. Hopefully you find the Galactic Challenge portion of the video somewhat useful, and as well that you enjoyed another Crete trip that I had. I have a couple of more, I think, videos still from Crete coming. I just have to have some time to put them together, edit them. It takes quite a lot of time to go through all the footage I record, but hopefully you find it enjoyable as well. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.